Kevin discovered something horrifying during a court session. While Mary tearfully accused her homeroom teacher of molesting her, the defendant actually hid his hand beneath the table and began savoring the moment, even revealing a look of intoxicated pleasure. With years of professional experience, Kevin instantly realized that Mary's accusations were undoubtedly true. The man he thought was innocent, the one he was defending, turned out to be nothing but a morally bankrupt scumbag. So he immediately requested a recess from the judge, then rushed into the restroom filled with rage. Continuing to defend Eddie went against his conscience, yet giving up now would end his 63-case undefeated streak and even endanger his entire career. Kevin was completely pushed to the crossroads between ideals and conscience. Just as he was struggling, a reporter walked in. The reporter had witnessed the entire trial and immediately began mocking Kevin, saying he was hiding in the restroom like a coward because he was afraid of losing. He even taunted that Kevin's precious undefeated record would end with this case, turning him into a complete loser in the legal world. The reporter's sharp and vicious words stabbed right into Kevin's moral bottom line. Finally, driven by vanity, his principles were slowly devoured, and he couldn't help but reveal a gentle smile. When court resumed, Kevin unleashed full firepower. He listed all of Mary's bad behaviors at school: not following rules in class, doodling to make teachers look ugly, giving teachers insulting nicknames like super fat pig, and even claiming she often watched adult videos and was a skilled gold digger. He argued she held a grudge after being punished and deliberately fabricated the molestation accusation. His arguments were sharp and aggressive, leaving Mary and her lawyer unable to fight back. With manipulative rhetoric that twisted truth into lies, Kevin smeared an innocent victim into a malicious liar. The verdict came as no surprise. The jury unanimously believed Mary was lying, and Eddie was acquitted on the spot. Later, Kevin went to a bar with his wife Mary and friends to celebrate maintaining his winning streak. As he basked in joy, Milton's firm invited him to help with a case, not to defend, but simply to select jurors. Kevin thought it was a joke until he saw a check with too many zeros to count. Though shocked, he immediately agreed. After arriving in New York, Kevin participated in jury selection. With his innate ability to read people, he could instantly identify the jurors least favorable to the defendant. And sure enough, with his selection, the jury unanimously opposed acquitting Cullen. Thus Kevin easily won his first New York case. Milton, the firm's boss, admired him greatly and extended an offer. Milton, a legendary figure in the legal world with his own unique method of reading people, took Kevin to the rooftop. The area was surrounded by an infinity pool with a narrow pathway connecting to an unfenced terrace edge. Just one glance made Kevin's heart tremble, but Milton stood confidently at the edge. He called this a pressure test, saying pressure sharpened focus and was the key to success. But Kevin, from a small town, believed money was the true driving force.
When do we talk about money? Money!
After joining the firm, Kevin soon received his first case. A man had slaughtered a sheep in his basement and was reported by neighbors. Police charged him with threatening public health. It was almost a guaranteed loss, but Kevin knew Milton was testing him. Winning this case would determine whether he could stand firm in the company. Kevin poured himself entirely into the case, working tirelessly while Mary busied herself decorating their new home. At first things went smoothly, but over time Mary grew frustrated. She felt she handled everything alone while Kevin was constantly absent, making her life feel empty. Fortunately, Kevin was clever. By exploiting a constitutional loophole protecting religious freedom, he helped the client avoid conviction. He won the case, earning his 65th consecutive victory. Milton praised him but warned him not to become arrogant. Never let others see your true strength. He claimed he once ruled the universe. Women were trivial pleasures, and countless beauties fell for him. Yet no one noticed him because he always appeared as an unremarkable old man. That, he said, was true mastery. Kevin couldn't understand this mysterious remark, but one day he eventually would. Later, Kevin and Mary attended a company banquet. Mary, attending for the first time, was nervous and begged Kevin not to leave her alone. But the moment they entered, he forgot his promise and encountered the firm's most stunning woman, Callista, on the balcony. Kevin had been infatuated with Callista since day one. Callista also seemed interested, speaking flirtatiously until the two were practically whispering intimately. Just then, Milton appeared and began touching Callista intimately, leaving Kevin burning with desire on the sidelines. But Milton wasn't simply interrupting Kevin. A major case had arrived. The firm's biggest client, Cullen, had just been accused of murdering his wife, priest, and servant. Despite the importance of the case, Milton insisted Kevin handle it, even though others objected. Kevin felt honored but didn't realize this case would destroy his family. When he returned home to share the news, Mary was furious for being abandoned at the banquet. No matter how Kevin explained, she refused to listen, forbade him from entering the bedroom, and their marriage began to crack. But Kevin had no time to care. He needed to win Cullen's case to shock New York and become the hottest new star. Meanwhile, Mary began encountering terrifying hallucinations. When visiting a neighbor, the neighbor suddenly transformed into a demon while changing clothes. Terrified, she ran home and explained everything to Kevin, who dismissed it as anxiety from being in a new environment. She begged him to leave the city with her, but Kevin couldn't give up his rising power and fame. To ease her condition, he brought his mother from the countryside. When they encountered Milton in the lobby, Kevin's mother reacted strangely, as if terrified. The next morning, she abruptly insisted on leaving, claiming the place was filled with evil energy. Though troubled at home, Cullen's case made progress. Cullen's assistant agreed to testify he was at the river that night. To confirm details, Kevin questioned her as though he were a judge, but soon realized she was lying. She didn't even know whether Cullen had double eyelids. Clearly, she'd been bribed to give false testimony. Once again, Kevin faced a moral crisis, this time defending a murderer who killed his wife and son. Kevin turned to Milton, who used only a few words to manipulate Kevin's vanity once again.
I'll back you either way. Maybe it's your time to lose.
These words completely ignited Kevin's vanity. He could not accept that his 65 consecutive victories would end here. If he abandoned this defense, everything he had achieved in New York would collapse instantly. After experiencing immense inner struggle, Kevin still decided to defend the tycoon Cullen with a plea of innocence. In court, Kevin and the female assistant Alice worked together flawlessly, successfully helping the murderer Cullen escape conviction. Right after the trial ended, Kevin received a call from Mary. She was shivering, wrapped only in a bedsheet, crying inside a church. Mary told her husband that Milton had attacked her at home that afternoon. Hearing this, Kevin exploded because Milton had been with him in court the entire afternoon. To prove she wasn't lying, Mary let the bedsheet fall, revealing a body covered in wounds. Kevin believed Mary had gone insane and had started hurting herself. In order to protect his wife, he had no choice but to send her to a psychiatric hospital. Mary told Kevin that they had taken dirty money, helped guilty men escape justice, and now all of this was their retribution. She said that, in the end, both of them would go to hell. Mary's heartfelt words left Kevin feeling deeply unsettled. After Kevin performed great service for the company, Milton promoted him directly to partner. This naturally provoked the jealousy of the general manager Eddie. To protect his position, Eddie issued a harsh warning. If Milton intended to replace him with Kevin, he wouldn't go down alone. He knew all of Milton's evil deeds, and if pushed, he could drag Milton down with him. Kevin relayed this to Milton. Milton only laughed coldly and called Eddie an ungrateful, greedy man who deserved punishment. That same afternoon, while jogging in the park, Eddie was followed by 3 homeless men. They vanished like ghosts, then suddenly reappeared and launched a frenzied attack. Under a barrage of blows, Eddie was beaten to death. The homeless men revealed hideous demonic faces. The next day, on his way to the psychiatric hospital, Kevin was questioned by an investigator from the Department of Justice. The investigator revealed that Milton's law firm was not as simple as it appeared. Behind the scenes, it was actually a global criminal organization involved in murder, arms smuggling, and countless other crimes. He said Milton was practically a walking demon. The investigator hoped Kevin would cooperate, but Kevin ignored him and continued walking. The investigator then revealed that the schoolteacher Kevin defended, the one acquitted, had now committed another crime and killed a young girl. Kevin was deeply shocked. Indirectly, he had already committed an irreversible mistake. Just as the investigator tried to persuade Kevin further, a speeding car crashed into him, killing him instantly. Seeing him die on the spot, Kevin finally realized the severity of the situation. When he arrived at the psychiatric hospital, retribution awaited him there as well. While looking in the mirror, Mary saw a demonic face. Unable to endure the torment any longer, she slit her throat in her room. Witnessing his wife's tragic death firsthand, the once invincible star lawyer could do nothing. Kevin's grieving mother then revealed a long-buried secret. 30 years ago, she had come to New York. A man who looked like a biblical angel took interest in her. After one night of passion, the man vanished without a trace. She returned to their small town and raised Kevin alone. That waiter was Milton. This news struck Kevin like a bolt of lightning. His rapid success and constant victories had all been part of Milton's design. Kevin stormed into Milton's residence, demanding to know if he had assaulted Mary. Milton insisted he did not. Kevin, furious, began firing at him wildly. Even after emptying the entire magazine, Milton remained unharmed.
What are you? I have so many names.
Kevin blamed everything on Satan, claiming it was Satan who had pulled him step by step into darkness, causing Mary and other innocent people to die tragically. But Satan said to him, "You left your small town because you wanted excitement. You defended guilty men. You neglected your wife's true feelings. You let lust control you and wanted to fool around with your female colleague. Which one of these was not caused by your own vanity?"
That day on the subway, what did I say to you? What were my words to you?
Although Kevin loudly refuted Satan's words, he knew in his heart that the root of everything lay within himself. Seeing Kevin speechless, Satan continued earnestly. Although he had countless children on Earth, only Kevin and Callista were the most exceptional. Even with his enormous power, a demon must obey human free will. Satan wanted Kevin and Callista to unite and give birth to a child of limitless potential, to create a stronger bloodline. Only if Kevin chose this on his own would Satan grant him eternal victory in court, control over any person's mind, and a life free from guilt. Kevin walked toward Callista, as though accepting Satan's arrangement. But in the next moment, he pulled out a gun and pointed it at his own head. He pulled the trigger. With his plan ruined, Satan's true nature erupted. Flames engulfed everything around them. In the next instant, Satan transformed into Kevin's appearance. And Kevin suddenly woke up. He found himself staring blankly in the bathroom. At this moment, he was still struggling with the teacher's defense case. Everything he had experienced seemed like a dream. Kevin returned to court, gently kissed Mary, and then publicly announced he was withdrawing from defending the teacher, even though it would ruin his career. The courtroom erupted in shock. All the reporters wanted to know why Kevin had suddenly grown a conscience. The same reporter who had mocked Kevin earlier chased after him and said that if Kevin agreed to an exclusive interview, he could package Kevin as a refreshing, righteous force in the legal world. Not only would he avoid the fallout of this case, he would become instantly famous. After thinking it over, Kevin agreed. But the moment he walked away, within just 1 second, the reporter's face changed.
Vanity. Definitely my favorite sin.
Kevin had just escaped one trap only to fall into another. No one knew whether he could escape again. Temptation surrounds the living, and Satan never stops luring greedy humans into hell.